Hey, what's up? I'm Marty Yang, creator of the Lucky Brain podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoy. All right, dude. Thanks so much for coming through, Justin. I appreciate it. So I met you at a networking event, and I was immediately digging your energy. You're going after it, getting after it, and you just like seemed like your energy was really good. So we should tell people what you do. You are an owner of a gym that I just found out that out right now.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I thought you were like maybe like a personal trainer or something along those lines.
Yeah. So I am like the head trainer, but I'm also the owner of the gym, and I also have other trainers that kind of mentor and work underneath me as well. Yeah. So it's kind of just my way of, obviously, I'm only one person, so that's my way of expanding my business and my philosophy of training. Yeah. Scaling it out. Exactly. Scaling it out. Yeah.
That's cool. Where did you get the business mindset of doing this? And like, did you have to work your way up as a personal trainer to kind of get the knowledge of how to run a gym?
I mean, there's really no like blueprint book or whatever for how to run a gym. I mean, it's been trial and error from day one. For me, it's like I always knew, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm confident in myself, and I am my own product in the essence of personal training. So that I have the confidence going in for, with the business ahead of time. But as far as like dealing with management and running into issues with building and insurance and city regulations and all those other things, there's no preparation for any of that. You kind of you dive into it head first, and you kind of just work its way out as you go. In the first 2 years is a learning curve. There's I made a lot of mistakes. I learned from those, and I've grown from those. So
that's dope.
There's really no it's something I always wanted to do, and I was motivated to do. Yeah. And a lot of people think that that's kind of like the highest tier as a personal trainer. Everyone dreams about, I want to have my own studio, my own gym one day. But I tell a lot of people, I was like, it sounds like fun and games, but a lot of people don't see the extra hours and the extra work you have to put in doing it. On the sideline that you're not getting paid for. It's just it comes with the territory. So not everyone's really cut out for it, but it's something I was always willing and ready to dedicate my time to do because I wanted to do it. Yeah.
When did you get into fitness?
I mean, as soon as I turned 18, I got certified like that. That year, like I was like hitting the ground running. I have my degree in kinesiology, sports medicine, so I took it a whole other level further. So it's not just a certification for me. I might have 5 different types of specialized certifications on top of my degree, because originally I wanted to go the route of being a physical therapist, but that didn't really kind of work. It didn't really interest me in the long run, so I went back to the personal training side and the business side of things. Yeah. But I've been, I'll be 34 in February, and I've been personal training since I was 18, so it's a long time of, and a long history of personal training, and I've done everything from private gyms to just about every corporate gym you can think of. I've worked through them all, I've been through it all, I've seen it all. So I've been in the game a long time.
Do you feel like working at those gyms like provided almost a guideline of how to?
Yes and no. I learned a lot about I knew I didn't want to be under the corporate kind of stronghold, forever. Right. But I also learned a lot about, there's obviously a lot of things that they do on the legal side that, I took notes of as far as contracts and insurance and liability and all those more professional things that if I were just to go into it on my own, I may have made those mistakes early on. So obviously there's a lot of lessons I learned from the corporate world. There's a lot of other things too that I didn't like and really approve of, how they focus more on the sales side versus taking care of the actual trainers who are the ones producing the product and having the relationship with the client in the first place. So those are things that I didn't like. For me it was like, the trainer and the clients come before the business, and the rest kind of takes care of itself. Yeah. So that was my mindset going into opening my own business.
That makes sense. So this is a question I think a lot of people kind of understand intuitively, but when it comes to getting in shape, what would you say is more important? Or you can say 80%, 20%. Is it diet or the exercise? Diet or the exercise? What do you say is put more emphasis on? Is it 50-50? What do you think?
I mean, it's different for everybody. I mean, for me, it's definitely it's probably more it's 50-50 for me. My training's very, very intense, but in order for me to train at that level and be at that level, my diet is extremely important. If I'm malnourished, I'm not hydrated, I'm not whatever, there's no way my body can crank out those type of workouts, recover and do it all over again. I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
Especially in terms of like, muscle building and body sculpting, those types of things is extremely important. If you're not getting enough protein, you're not consuming enough calories, and you're just not going to build muscle. You're going to stay thin. You get stronger because you're exercising, you're beating up the muscles, you're working the lungs, the heart, all those things, so you get some performance, but or even burning fat. You know what I mean? You can, a lot of people think that, well, I went to the gym for an hour, so that means I can go out and still go eat cheesecake and whatever afterwards. That's not right. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have both of them together.
Yeah.
So I think I would say for most people, I would say it's more like, I'd say it's kind of like a 50-50 thing. At least for me anyways, and for other people who maybe aren't as dedicated to the gym, maybe they're just kind of doing 2 or 3 simple workouts a week, which is great. It's better than nothing. For those people, it's going to be like 90-10. 90% of their results is going to come from their diet, because they're really not burning enough calories to kind of really get to where they want to get.
That makes sense.
Everyone's different based on what they're doing.
Yeah.
If you're an athlete, you're burning a ton of calories working out extra hard. So, it's going to be like 50-50, right? Because burning the calories and doing the workouts is not the problem. Like, you're doing that, no problem.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's going to be made up with the diet. But for other people who aren't as intense with the workouts, diet's going to be extremely important.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, that it would vary depending on
what you're doing.
The way that you eat.
I would say for an average person going into a fitness program, probably 90-10.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, when you're working with clients who are average peeps,
Mm-hmm.
Do you advise them on their diet?
I do. I don't, and a lot of people charge extra for that and whatever. Technically I'm not a nutrition, so if they have specific requests and whatever, I have nutritionists that I work with, so I usually kind of outsource to them. And I usually prefer that, because that's someone who can really be on them and not only just worry about like, this is your macros, this is how much you should be eating, but some people, maybe they're malnourished, maybe they need a little more vitamin, E, maybe they need, more iron or zinc in their diet or whatever. Like I don't claim to be a nutritionist, so I don't, I can't advise on those things. So I usually recommend, like, if you can, work with one of my nutritionists. They'll really get you dialed in, and not only are you going to like get the physical and the health results, but so much more on top of that. But my basic nutrition stuff is going to be like, I know what we're going to be, our body's going to be burning, based on our workout program. This is how you should be eating. This is a basic guideline. Try to follow that. And most people, if they can at least follow like some sort of basic guideline, they're going to get results.
Yeah. So what kind of food would you recommend, or does it vary depending on the person?
And again, it varies not only depending on the person, but also the goals. I have, for instance, I had someone who came to me with an opposite problem as most people, is that he's a hard gainer. He actually wanted to gain weight. He's never weighed more than 140 pounds. His goal was just to put on 10 pounds. So I had him eating probably close to 6,000 calories a day, which seems crazy for most people, but because of his genetics, that's what was required.
Wow.
Of that, of him to go ahead and gain that weight. And we got him there, but again, it depends on the person, right? But if you're, a 200-pound person and you're looking to lose 30 pounds and put on a little bit of lean muscle, then there's like specific, diet requirements for that. On average, it's like I do like, 40% protein, 25-30% carbs, and the rest is going to be fat. It's kind of like an average ratio,
Gotcha.
But it varies from person to person. The main thing is like how many calories are we consuming throughout the day. That's what varies the most. I don't believe in crash course diets. Everything for me is gradual when I do things healthy. Just because someone weighs 250 pounds and they say they want to lose 50 pounds, I'm not going to give them a diet plan based on a 200-pound person, because that's not healthy. I'm going to base it on a 240-pound person, because our first goal was to lose 10 pounds. So everything is incremental. That's where a lot of people go wrong. They're just like, I'm just going to go hard and I'm going to just, do this 1,200 calorie diet. 1,200 calorie diet for someone who's 300 pounds trying to lose 100 pounds is very, very unhealthy. It could be very strenuous on the heart. It could be strenuous on the kidneys, the liver, everything on everything in their system. So like, that's where a lot of people kind of go wrong. These crash course diets are not good. Like, will you get results? Of course, but there could be detrimental effects if you're not careful with it too.
I see. Yeah, so gradual.
Gradual is the best way to do it, and then as you're working out, you're building lean muscle, there's physiological changes that are going on. A lot of that stuff's going to kind of work its way out in the long run anyways, so just do things gradual and let be part of the process is what I preach.
Yeah.
Don't look for like the easy result. Learn to enjoy the process, and the rest just kind of works its way out.
What sort of challenges do you face when working with clients? What's like, I know that's kind of a general question. But
the main thing is just keeping people motivated, keeping them focused. So that's always the challenge, you know, for me, you know, keeping them excited with the workouts, finding things that, you know, trying to find cues and things in the workouts that they enjoy, and focus my workouts based on around that. And everybody, you know, some people hate certain exercises. I won't do those. You know, and I think there's a lot of trainers, that's what I teach a lot of trainers, because a lot of them, I don't know if it's just they're hard-headed and they're set in their ways and like, we're going to do this, this, and this no matter what. Some people are just uncomfortable learning new techniques or training, so they just don't know, so they don't do that. You know, for me, it's just keeping things fresh, keeping them motivated, keeping them focused on their goal, so it's constantly reminding them why they came to me in the first place. You know, why did you come to me? Like, what's your reason? You know, are you getting ready for a wedding? You know, did you just have a kid? You know, did you have a stroke or something and you need to get, your doctor says, you know, this is, you know, impediment of your health, you need to do this, you know,
right.
Focus, keep them refocused on their goal, remind them of why they're there, and try and just keep them on track that way. So a lot of it is just accountability. You got to be in touch with your people, you got to stay on top of them. That's something that I've always been really good at. That's why I've had some clients that have been with me for 6-7 years now, and they'll never leave, just because of the accountability. It's really important.
Yeah, that's one issue with me, man, is I definitely want somebody to like keep me accountable, because consistency, that's one thing that I struggle with big time. Like before the gyms closed, like March, April, whatever, I was going, you know, pretty consistently and doing like decent workouts or whatever. But after the gym closed, it became really difficult for me to like get motivated, get out there and run, do fucking push-ups or squats or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. And those are great exercises, by the way. I love those. But just the consistency of it, I don't know, just the ease of going to the gym and then being surrounded by people who are getting after it.
I mean, we're all naturally competitive by nature, right? You know, and I found that a lot, and I've used that to my advantage. You know, I'll purposely have certain people work out at certain times because they, you know, they're around the same skill level, the same age, they see each other, and subconsciously they naturally want to be like, okay, well, this person's doing that, I need to up it up a little bit. They don't realize they're doing that, but their subconscious is naturally competitive, and it just works out that way. So being around other people definitely helps. Yeah. I even train like a lot of advanced people. Sometimes I'm in the middle of a workout and I'll have them jump in on my workout, and they're doing it with me. So they're seeing me push, they're pushing harder, they're working out harder, working out faster. Right. So there's all kinds of things, tricks and things I've learned over the years that I do to kind of keep pushing people forward.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
amazing.
Not everyone has that in them, that grit to like do these things on their own, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you get going for a little while, maybe, you know, things get boring. You know, I've been working out nonstop for, I don't know, almost next year it'll be 20 years of lifting, you know, nonstop without ever taking really longer than a week off break. So I started lifting when I was 14 and I never stopped. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, but for me, it's always finding new ways to challenge myself, setting new goals. You know, that's the main thing that I preach for people going forward, even when they leave me, if they're not training with me anymore, is that you have to constantly keep challenging yourself. Yeah. A lot of people get complacent in their ways, you know, and that's life in general. A lot of people get comfortable, they get complacent, and they lose focus and they lose motivation. You have to constantly be uncomfortable and have to constantly keep challenging yourself. And I preach that for all aspects of life. You have to constantly keep challenging yourself and setting goals.
Yeah. So for you, what's your motivation, like, to be like consistent, to keep on going after it, to have amazing physique?
I mean, for me, being in a competitive arena helps. I mean, for my first greater portion of my fitness career, I was competitive bodybuilding. Made it to the professional level in my early 20s. Kind of just got burnt out on it, to be honest with you, in the politics of the sports, and a lot of things changed that I didn't really like or approve of. So I had to find some other way to get some other competitive realm to kind of get myself remotivated. So when I got into competitive powerlifting, I did that at the elite level for about 6.5 years.
That's great.
Had, you know, big goals in mind. There's certain numbers I wanted to hit, certain things I wanted to do, you know, to really push the realm of power and strength, you know, to a level I never knew was even achievable, but we got there and I did it. You know, and then honestly, I'd probably still be doing it to this day, but unfortunately I've had too many back injuries and herniated discs and those sorts of things. So, you know, for me as a fitness professional, I'm all about longevity, so I had to make the conscious decision to kind of swallow my ego and my pride and take a break and leave powerlifting and find something else. Yeah. So most recently I got into the competitive Spartan racing or obstacle course racing realm. So that's my new sport. That's what I do competitively. Unfortunately, because of COVID and everything else, the season was canceled this year. But hopefully 2021 will be coming back strong. But for me, being an athlete and constantly challenging myself,
sounds like it
forces me to be at that competitive level, because I'm extremely competitive by nature. And I take, you know, every fitness thing or whatever I do very seriously. So, you know, for me, it's like there's plenty of days where I go in there, it's like, I don't want to be here, but that thought of like someone who I'm going to be racing against is working out harder and better than I am, like constantly remind myself of that keeps me fired up every day.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, and then, you know, who knows what's after Spartan racing. Like I plan on doing, you know, triathlons one day, like maybe I'll do like the Masters Olympics or something later on in life, I don't know, but you know, always constantly challenging myself with new goals.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Because realistically, like physically, I can go into what's called like a maintenance phase. I could get away with just doing like a 30-minute pump workout and still, you know, look great and still be healthy and whatever, and just be done with it. But that for me is not enough. Like I don't like that feeling of being complacent. I always like to challenge myself and push the limits of the human body. So being competitive is my way of doing that.
Yeah. Excellent. When we're doing powerlifting, what type of stuff in terms of like lifting, not the amount of weight you were lifting, but just like what type of exercises or lifting would you do? Is it squats? Is it bench?
I'm a full power lifter, so we compete in squat, bench press, and deadlift. So typically for like a powerlifting meet, you start with your squat, then you go to bench press, then you finish with deadlift. So you have to compete in all three lifts in one single competition. So my workout program is based on, you know, increasing, you know, that 1 rep range with weight as much as possible, like really pushing the limits on those three exercises. I'm more of like part of the modern era of powerlifting. Before, you know, you think of a powerlifter, you think of these kind of big burly dudes with like beer bellies that move a lot of weight, but they don't really look that healthy. Traditionally, that was true because, you know, the type of workouts they're doing are, you know, a lot of rest in between each set, very low rep range, 1, 2, and 3. So you're not burning a whole lot of calories, but you're exerting a lot of force.
Yeah.
Right. But for me, as an athlete and a health and fitness person, that to me wasn't enough. So I developed what was called the hybrid program, which is hybrid fitness. And I'm not the only one. It's kind of like a philosophy now. There's other hybrid gyms out there with their own version of the philosophy and whatever. So, but for me, you know, I had a bodybuilding background previously, and I wasn't about to lose my physique just to be stronger. I wanted to have both. So I was like, why can't I have both? How to develop programs that I can also push the limits of powerlifting, but also maintain my physique. So I kind of created this hybrid program where, you know, and it's a lot more work because powerlifting workouts you can be spend an hour and a half on just squat. That's how intense these workouts can be. So imagine doing an hour to hour and a half of just your squat movement.
Whoa.
And then on top of that, then you have another hour of what I call isolation, which would be like your lunges and your leg extensions and like those accessory things that kind of focus on and isolate very specific muscle groups. That's how you develop the sculpting look, the aesthetic look, is you have to do those isolation movements. The powerlifting movements aren't going to be enough. So I would do the power workout and then that on top of that. It's a lot of work, but I was able to do that. Mm-hmm. And now you're starting to see a lot more of these kind of like what we call hybrid athletes kind of emerging, and they're the ones breaking the records. You know what I mean? They're the ones because they're putting in the extra work. You know, you have guys like Larry Wheels and some of these other really well-known powerlifters. They look like bodybuilders, but they're literally breaking world records year after year. They're the strongest athletes we've ever seen.
Interesting. So the hybrid method is like a combination of like powerlifting and bodybuilding?
I mean, everybody's different. I just call it multi-dimensional programming. So, you know, if you're a bodybuilder, there's kind of like a traditional isolation type of way you would normally work out. For powerlifting, we have what we call linear programming. It's a very specific linear it's kind of boring, honestly. It's like this week we do this weight for this reps, and then this week for that reps and whatever. There's not a lot of change. It's just slow increases over time and just being consistent with those workouts. And then I also have what I call like more like the calisthenic endurance kind of athletic element that I add in now too. So my workout it's basically like a fusion of 3 different workout styles combined into one. And that's just my own personal, you know, combination of things, and it's worked really well for a lot of my clients. Basically, I just take what I do and I kind of dub it down into a much simpler form, and I teach that to them. And some people excel in different areas and they fall in love with different areas. Some people are like, I really like this powerlifting stuff. I really want to just get strong. So I build a program around, it's a hybrid program built around the powerlifting goals because that's what they like, and that's keeping them motivated because they're like, I want to deadlift 400 pounds, that's my goal. Great, that keeps you fired up and keeps you in the gym, let's do that.
Yeah.
You know, some people really like the endurance stuff. I want to do slam balls and battle ropes and jump all over the place like a crazy person. That's what they like. I'm going to build your program around that because that's what you enjoy, and we're still working and achieving fitness goals, right? And
that's
then
some brilliant, dude.
Yeah, some people just throw it at me. I don't have to think today. Just give me something crazy and I'll do it. You know, like there's a lot of those. They like to be mindless. just told what to do. I come in and I keep the workouts fresh every week. It's always different.
Yeah.
You know, and it keeps me from getting bored as a trainer too. You know, like I don't want to come in and just do the same workouts over and over again with you. Like I want to be excited. You know, I get there and like you see me kind of like doing one of these like Mr. Smithers kind of like things with my hands because I've been thinking all day like what I'm going to make you do, and like I'm just waiting for you to go through this workout and like you tell me like, oh wow, that was a good workout. Like I love, you know, I live for those types of moments.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's gratifying for you.
It is, man. Like, you know, people, you know, they say, oh, you're a sadist and you're crazy and whatever because you just like torturing people. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like no, like I take pride in what I do, and like, you know, as a trainer, like I want to know you had a good workout. I want you to feel like, wow, I really worked hard. I really achieved something today. Like we're really pushing the limits of the human body. Like that's, you know, I want you to understand and learn like you're capable of more. You know, that's why I give people such intense workouts because I know what the human body can handle. Just most people just haven't unlocked that in their mind. They're very limited. They think like, oh, I can only do this and only do that. Try to teach them you can do more.
Yeah.
So
what's the recovery time like for a person? Just like a person that starts off and you fucking, you know, throw them into...
My workout programs, because they're multi-dimensional, I mean, you can do these types of workouts every day. Where people go wrong is when you're doing like, you know, the same movements over and over and over again without rest. So say you're over-exhausting the legs, you're doing too many leg movements back to back to back on different days. So, you know, I try and keep things more full body for people. So, you know, they're beat up during the workout, but they're not usually too sore the next day. Some people that want to isolate a little bit more, okay, well, I'm going to throw in a little bit more chest isolation or leg isolation, so they're probably going to be a little bit sore the next day. So on average for those type of workouts, it's usually about 48 hours. So for me, if I did a really intense leg workout, I want to do more leg exercises probably for another 48 to 72 hours. It's pretty normal. If you're malnourished, that's going to be different. That's where nutrition comes in, right? Because if you're not sleeping enough, you're not eating the right types of food, you're not staying hydrated, it could take you a week to heal sometimes. You know, and I know when I'm overworked and I'm stressed and I'm not sleeping right and whatever, I can tell because that leg day I did on Monday, I'm still feeling it on Friday, and that's a problem. Right. And that's when I have to check my own self. Like I need to make sure I'm getting to bed on time and make sure that I'm eating the things that I'm supposed to be eating again. So it's just kind of like a constant reminder, checks and balances for my own self.
Awesome. And where's your location at?
We're on North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. So if you exit 210 freeway, make a right on Fair Oaks, or right there on the right hand side. Small studio, we're about 2,000 square feet, but definitely have more than enough for what people need to get a good workout in.
Yeah, I've seen some videos on, I think on your IG. Looks like you got a pretty good space right there.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, definitely has. You know, and I built it for my own self, so some of the stuff in there, like probably don't really need it for like some of the other people, but obviously I do my own workouts there too. So, you know, I need to build a sturdy gym that has everything that I'm going to need as well.
And you said you have a couple or some people that help you out there as well.
Yeah, I got myself and I got 4 other trainers that kind of work underneath me. 3 are what I consider like independent contractors. So they kind of just like pay a monthly fee and they do train their own clients.
Oh, okay.
And I like having them there too because they do help out with some other things. And sometimes I'm busy, so they're happy to fill in, so they kind of help me out. Then I have 2 understudy, what I call like a mentorship program. So they're kind of new to the game. They want to learn like more about, you know, how do I grow as as being self-employed? You know what I mean? It's a lot different than being in a corporate gym where you show up and they, hey, here's a new client today. You know what I mean? Like you got to actually get out there. You have to hustle. You have to learn how to do some marketing. You got to learn how to, you know, handle your own self, build rapport, stay on top of your clients, learn how to do billing, how to do scheduling. So I have usually keep 1 to 2 people underneath me at all times. And for them, I find clients for them because my schedule is always pretty much full. I don't take on a whole lot of new clients. Very specific cases, I will bring them in, or if my clientele starts to drop, I have some people canceling or taking breaks, then I'll bring some new people in. But for the most part, they kind of go to my understudies and I kind of build out the program for them. And, you know, I'll take 30%, they keep 70%, but they do all the work handling those clients.
Right.
But that also allows me to kind of, you know, scale and build my own business and build my philosophy as well. And the goal for them is to get them in the mentorship programs, to get them to be independent, learn how to work on their own, how to be full-time trainers, and basically so then they just pay the monthly fee and they're kind of just floating on their own. Then I bring in, you know, more mentors to kind of help coach them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You got a nice smooth operation.
Yeah, it's going really well. I mean, at times it could feel like a lot of work, but you know, it's what I love to do, so it doesn't bother me much.
So I guess we'll wrap it up. We've been talking for like 25 minutes now. What would you say, I guess, as just a general question, if somebody's looking to get into, you know, health and fitness, where does somebody start off? Like somebody who's overweight.
Just do something. Just move. I don't care if you do Soul Cycle. I don't care if you want to do boot camp. A lot of people, I know CrossFit's popular, and I'm not trying to knock CrossFit. Like, God bless them, they're very intense athletes, but I don't recommend that be your starting point. A lot of people get injured there. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't really know how to lift and do some of those more advanced movements, or, you know, there's a lot of overuse injuries. It's probably not a good place to start. That's what I would say as an entry point as you become more advanced in like a year or two. You're better off doing like a full body, like weight loss boot camp, that sort of thing. So it's like, it's high intensity, but you're not going to be doing clean and jerks and snatches and more advanced movements like that, where you're probably going to blow out your shoulder. And now you're going to be discouraged from fitness because, oh, I went to the gym and I got injured, and you think that's the standard, but it's not, you know. So start with anything. I don't care what you do to start. You know, it could be yoga, it could be, you know, Soul Cycle, like I said, get on a running program, you know, maybe, you know, get an online trainer and do some home workouts or something like that. Or if you're really serious and really want to hit the ground running, then hire a trainer. Honestly, that's the best thing you can do for yourself, because you're going to learn how to do things right. You're going to learn how to program. You're going to have someone making sure you're doing things safely and correctly. And you're going to build a foundation so that you can go forward and have a fitness, you know, fitness life, basically. I preach lifestyle. It's not just a quick fix, right? Like, if people don't want to, you know, train with me anymore, I hope they learn something so they can go back and do it on their own. That's my end game goal. Like, yeah, achieve results, but also get people to understand that this is a lifestyle. It's not a temporary fix. So,
yeah,
you know, if you really want to hit the ground running, get yourself a trainer, please. Even if it's like 1 day a week, you're going to learn a lot. Otherwise, just do something. Just move and try and be regular with it. Give yourself, say, you know what, I'm going to dedicate at least 3 months, no matter what. I'm going to run this amount every week for 3 months and stick to it. You set a goal and you finish a goal, and I'm a firm believer that if you can make it past that 3 month mark, it's going to become more of a habit, and you're going to move forward and do something else. Maybe you get into, like, you know, a gym membership and you take it one step further or whatever. So just move, do something, set a goal, try and stay with that goal for 3 months, and then reevaluate and go from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, thank you so much
for
doing this, man. I appreciate it. And, you know, people can follow you on your IG. I'll tag your IG stuff. And any, like, do you have a website or anything?
I do. For me personally, it's www.JustinKnowsFitness.com. If you guys want to check out my gym, it's www.hybridfitnessla.com.
Yeah.
And there's links on there. If you guys are interested in personal training, they can go ahead and book a free assessment. The first workout's free. And it kind of just take you through a sample of what my workouts look like, and then, you know, this gives you a chance to kind of meet with me and talk about your goals and see if personal training is a good fit for you, and if not, then I can advise you another direction. But it gives people an opportunity to kind of like at least get their feet in the door and start with something.
Awesome. Justin, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. All right.
Dope, dude.
Sweet.
Hey, what's up? I'm Marty Yang, creator of the Lucky Brain podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoy.